Prince Andrew, answering questions for the first time about his friendship with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
I don't know Prince Andrew, but it's a tough story.
Trump has been photographed with Prince Andrew as far back as the year 2000.
But something I've heard that doesn't seem to be being covered are the Epstein files. These files were released, and like Donald Trump's sort of all over this, right? There are pictures of him with Jeffrey Epstein. He's taken multiple plane flights with Epstein with young girls on board. He is on call logs with Epstein. One of the highest trending hashtags on Twitter right now is about Trump and Epstein. I'm not going to repeat the hashtag because we're in a dignified setting. But yeah, y'all might want to look at that because that's highly disturbing. And again, it shows that Donald Trump is unfit for office. And by the way, he was convicted in a civilian court for sexual assault, convicted in a separate court of 34 felonies. Donald Trump should drop out of the race.
Oh, that's gonna hurt!
I mean, am I going insane? Are we just going to act like this is completely normal? That after months of conservatives screaming, release the Epstein files, down with the Hollywood sex trafficking ring, all your favorite actors are toast, and you'll be begging for Kevin Sorbo in Hercules Storms the Capitol.
Oh, this can't be good.
Well, they're now deafeningly silent because you-know-whose name is a constant. You know, the same man who flew on his plane 7 times has called him a, quote, terrific guy who likes beautiful women, many of them on the younger side, and can be found in upwards of 70 photos with him. 70. I don't even have 70 photos with my mom. No, it's not the incumbent who's under more scrutiny to drop out. It's convicted felon Donald J. Trump.
President Trump was asked about Andrew this morning in London.
I don't know Prince Andrew, but it's a tough story. It's a very tough story. I don't know him, no.
President Trump has been photographed with Prince Andrew as far back as the year 2000. He is seen here alongside the Prince and First Lady at his Mar-a-Lago estate. Epstein was also at that party.
Well, it turns out California Representative Ted Lieu wants to know the same thing. Why is Donald Trump's ties to Jeffrey Epstein not getting more media coverage? At a news conference this week, Lieu brought up the very issue, an issue they demand to ask more questions.
We hear a lot from our constituents on different issues, but something I've heard that doesn't seem to be being covered are the Epstein files. These files were released, and like Donald Trump's sort of all over this, right? There are pictures of him with Jeffrey Epstein. He's taken multiple plane flights with Epstein with young girls on board. He is on call logs with Epstein. One of the highest trending hashtags on Twitter right now is about Trump and Epstein. I'm not going to repeat the hashtag because we're in a dignified setting. But yeah, y'all might want to look at that because that's highly disturbing.
And the congressman has a point, right? For 3 consecutive presidential elections now, Trump hasn't been pressed enough, if at all, by reporters on the campaign trail about his relationship with Epstein. Despite there being countless videos, quotes from 2002 that Epstein was a terrific guy, or the fact that Trump wished Epstein's co-conspirator well in her failed attempt to stay out of jail during her trial.
In our politics lead now, even some Trump-supporting Republicans expressed outrage yesterday when President Trump extended well wishes to Ghislaine Maxwell. Maxwell's been charged with conspiring with the now dead pedophile Jeffrey Epstein to sexually abuse teenage girls. Trump and Maxwell have been photographed together, but in an interview with CNN, another former Epstein business partner said that the two knew each other well, as CNN's Pamela Brown reports for us now.
President Trump's return to the briefing room took an unexpected turn with his response to a question about Ghislaine Maxwell, arrested earlier this month on multiple charges related to sexual abuse of underage girls by her longtime companion, convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. She has pleaded not guilty.
I haven't really been following it too much. I just wish her well, frankly.
The warm wishes for Maxwell are bringing renewed scrutiny to Trump's relationship with her and Epstein, who government officials say died by suicide in his jail cell last year after being charged with sex trafficking. Some Republican lawmakers reacted to Trump's comments on Twitter, saying, "This is unacceptably obtuse for a woman accused of the most morally depraved of crimes. And she is despicable, and he needs to say that."
I've met her numerous times over the years, especially since I lived in Palm Beach, and I guess they lived in Palm Beach. But I wish her well, whatever it is.
Trump says he's known Epstein since the late 80s, and pictures from the 90s show the president with Maxwell, who became Epstein's girlfriend, associate, and allegedly his madam. One picture shows Trump with Maxwell in 1997. then again in early 2000 at Trump's Palm Beach property, Mar-a-Lago, with his wife, Melania, and Epstein. Another picture shows Trump with Maxwell that same year at a New York fashion show.
And of course, a court-ordered document released in 2021 that revealed Trump flew on Epstein's private plane between New York and Palm Beach 7 times in the mid-90s, despite Trump claiming that he had never flown with Epstein. And it's also worth noting there's the 2016 lawsuit filed against Trump by a woman who claimed the former president raped her as a teenager at Epstein's apartment. And when you take all this into consideration, right, including Trump's very well-documented past of sexual misconduct that he was found liable for, and then you watch this interview with Trump on Fox News, his ambivalence to whether or not he would release all the Epstein files is as clear as day, as is his discomfort.
Would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah.
Would you,
I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know it. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world. But I think I would, or at least
Do you think that would restore trust? Help restore trust?
Yeah, I don't know about Epstein so much as I do the others.
9/11, yeah. JFK, I'm with you. Jeffrey Epstein, yeah. Well, why would Donald Trump be so circumspect about exposing the secrets of Jeffrey Epstein, a billionaire child sex trafficker who died in prison, without revealing which of his well-connected elite friends knew about and possibly even participated in his revolting and illegal activities? Convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, who is considered the missing link in all sorts of wild, numerous conspiracy theories about the secret cabals of child abusers and killers that run the world, and you can see here joking and ogling women at a New York party in 1992 with a local financier named Donald Trump. I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy, Trump once told New York Magazine. He's a lot of fun to be with. It is even said he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side. No doubt about it, Jeffrey enjoys his social life. I can't for the life of me imagine why Trump might want to pump the brakes on declassifying just this one thing.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know it. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world.
So yeah, all things considered, I agree with Ted Lieu that Trump's ties to Epstein seem deserving of at least a little more scrutiny, considering how brutal the coverage of Joe Biden has been. And the fact that Trump's been allowed to avoid addressing any of this is a colossal media failure, especially considering how the situation would be reported if it was Biden, because we all know how that would pan out.
Charges that Jeffrey Epstein was running a sex trafficking ring in the early 2000s that included underage girls as young as 14 years old.
Donald Trump in 2002 said of Epstein, he's a lot of fun to be with. It's even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side.
He routinely spoke fawningly of Jeffrey. He admired Epstein's lifestyle.
Your daughter, she's beautiful. Can I say this? A piece of it.
She's actually always been very voluptuous.
What does Tiffany have of Marlon's?
She's got Marlon's legs. We don't know whether or not she's got this pregnant.
You were playing tennis and you came off the court. Quote, look at that piece of I would love some of that. It so happened that Trump was referring to Cohen's then 15-year-old daughter, Samantha.
I had the impression that he was interested in younger women and that, women would age out for him.
Miss Teen Universe? Yeah, that's like giving Jeffrey Dahmer a cooking show.
I'll go backstage before a show, and everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I standing there with no clue.
Donald Trump is heard making questionable comments about a young girl.
You going up the escalator? I'm going to be dating her in 10 years.
A lawsuit against the presumptive GOP nominee alleges he raped a girl when she was 13 years old.
Prince Andrew answering questions for the first time about his friendship with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
I don't know Prince Andrew, but it's a tough story.
Trump has been photographed with Prince Andrew as far back as the year 2000.
Ghislaine Maxwell is accused of helping Epstein sexually abuse underage girls.
I've met her numerous times over the years, especially since I lived in Palm Beach, and I guess they lived in Palm Beach. But I wish her well.
You know about sexual predators and things like that. I mean,
you are one.
All right, I was going to say that, but it's true.
But what is clear is when those so adamant about the release of these files have gone silent, it tells you everything you need to know.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.